Welcome, wanderers, to Whittle Walsh's workshop. We're here on Whittle Walsh's workshop. We'll whittle you what you want. Well, wanderers, it's been a while, but we're back in the bus. So last time I posted anything on the channel, we were doing the subfloor, and I had just a little bit more to do, and I've since completed that. So let me give you a rundown of what exactly we've been doing since last we talked. So there's a lot happening in the bus. What we got going on is there's the subfloor. It's 100% complete, and it came out really good. It's pretty bomber. And then I decided to insulate these walls with this 1.5 inch Foamular board that we used for the floor. You know, I was considering doing spray foam because that's, you know, what Chuck Cassidy recommends, but I felt like to spray foam this huge bus, you know, because I've got 1.5 inches, and then I've started the framing, and so what that consists of is 2 pieces of 3/4 inch plywood rips, 2 inches by 3/4 inch by 3/4 inch. So there's another 1.5 inches. So we're talking about 3 inches of spray foam in this entire bus. I think that would have been a small fortune. And for what, you know, we're not going to be living in it full time. So what we're going to be using it for, I feel like this stuff was a relatively good solution. And I can tell already it's pretty bomber now. You know, I'm getting R75 for this, and then after I get it wired and all my boxes in, I feel like I'll put another layer of this in, so these walls will be pretty well insulated. So I'm working on the framing, and what that consists of are these strips, these furring strips, or strapping as we call it sometimes. I started at the bottom, and these are falling on 16 on centers. So over here, you know, as you can see, it'll be 16 on center as I go up, and then I'll put a piece of 1/2 inch plywood on there, you know, depending on how we're going to finish these walls. You know, I may get a finished piece of plywood or rough plywood and then put some sort of, you know, finished coating on it. We're not really sure. So we've been doing that, and I will continue with these furring strips all the way up and around the top of the bus. When I get up here though, I think I'm gonna go a little tighter than 16. I might go 8 inches or a foot on center, so that, you know, because I'm gonna have to bend plywood around there, 1/4 inch plywood. So the more nailing I have, the better I'll be. So how we put these furring strips on is I've been using these Tex cutter screws. I'm using 1 7/16 inch, and they have a little wing on them. I should probably try to turn this video around so I can see what I'm filming. I don't know if I can though. I don't think I can. Anyway, so it has these little wings on them that'll break off as you screw it in, and I'm screwing it into the hat channels. So I'll screw it in every one, and then I'll add the second layer on with just 2 inch, you know, silver screws or whatever. So then I'll take another piece and I'll add it on there, and that gives me that fur out past this chair rail here. So when we put the plywood on, we'll clear all that. It gives me perfect chases to run my wiring down through, and then I'm going to get low profile 1.5 inch boxes that I'll nail onto here, but we'll get into that later. Hey wanderers, hey, I just thought about it for a second. I haven't really been going into a lot of detail about exactly how I'm getting my spacing and doing all that, because I sometimes assume that you just know how to do stuff like that. But you know, as I don't know if you know this or not, but I'm a carpenter, so I've been doing this kind of stuff for quite a while. So for me, I don't break it down because I forget that, you know, it's sometimes people don't do this kind of stuff. So in order to get your spacing right for these pieces of strapping, your best thing to do is, especially in this bus where nothing is really all that, you know, you don't have a whole lot of, you can't plumb this stuff. Meaning you can't really put a level on it because I'm parked facing downhill and sideways and everything else. So you have to go off the existing structure. So what I did here was I measured up to get my 16 on center. So I get my tape out. So I measured up off the floor. So I get my 16 on center. And you know, I want to make sure that you know, the middle of this 2-inch strapping falls right on a layout, so that when I go to finish this off with my plywood, I'll know where to put my screws. So in order to do that, I measured from this chair rail, which sticks out 1.5 inches, which is nice, and it's pretty consistent all the way down through. So I measured up to where the bottom of this would be. This is a 2-inch piece of strap, so that my 16 would fall right in there. And it ended up being somewhere around an 8-inch block, okay? So then you take your 8-inch block and you stick it, and of course that got a little tight, but maybe this is the one. Now of course, look at this. Anyway, there you go. I have that stuck in there, holding that up, and I did that down there to hold those pieces up. And then I placed my board on there and screwed it off. And then after I got up out of that chair rail, then the layout ends up being, you know, consistent. You've got a 2-inch piece of strapping, and you want to be from 16 from here to the middle of your strapping here. So I cut some 14-inch blocks, and then you place your piece of strapping on top of there, and then you drill it in, and then you just continue to leapfrog that all the way up, and that's how you get a consistent line of strapping, so that when you put your plywood on, you know where your nailing is. All right, hope that helped. So here we are. We've also decided to get the layout kind of half hammered out so that we will be putting in a few windows. I kind of did this a little backwards. I mean, I should have had the windows in before I insulated and did all this, but I can cut all this out for the windows after we figure out what we're gonna do. But right now, as far as the layout goes, this back corner here is gonna be, we're gonna have full-size bed in here. We're gonna have 2 of them, bunks, 2 full-size bed. And then we come out here, and this is twins. There'll be 2 full-size twins in here for the boys. This area right here is going to be the garage, which is accessible from this handicap door. And inside the garage, this is where all of the hot water tank, the batteries for the solar system, the electrical panel, all that will go inside of here. So then we come out of the bed. This will, over in this area right here, we'll have some closets and storage for clothes. We come out through here, there'll be a little door here, and this will be our bathroom. Put a shower over here. We're probably not going to use this shower pan, but this is what was with the bus when I demoed it, so I just kind of put it in here for a visual. So there's going to be a shower there with a plumbing wall right here, and the head will come up and be in this wall here. My plumbing will run all the way down through underneath the boys' bed, back up into this wall, and then back over here, which will be the kitchen counter. So there'll be a sink right here, a stove range right here, countertop right in here, and then possibly on the other side we'll have the refrigerator over here. And then the toilet, of course, will be over there somewhere. And then I think what we'll do is we'll put a window in the bathroom, maybe 2 little ones in there. We're thinking about putting windows in the boys' bunks, one for Elliot, one for the for the All Thing King, and one for Hot Sauce 2.0. And then we'll put 2 windows in back here for these fulls. And as far as other windows go, haven't quite figured it out, but I'm sure there'll be some up here in the kitchen, and there may be a few over here for the, the living area. So there it is. That's what we've been up to. So stay tuned.